Welcome back, everyone, to another explainer. Look, if you're leading technology initiatives right now or trying to navigate the wild world of enterprise architecture, you know the ground has completely shifted beneath us. Looking ahead to 2026, the big question in boardrooms is definitely no longer, hey, should we use AI? I mean, we are way past that. The real question, the one literally keeping CTOs awake at night, is why are our current AI efforts totally stalling out? So today, we're breaking down a super practical framework to figure out your actual AI readiness and pinpoint exactly what's holding you back.
Okay, let's dive into this. We're going to walk through 6 clear steps today. We'll start with the AI scaling problem, define what AI readiness actually is, map out the 8 critical readiness dimensions, show you how to score your AI stages, talk about fixing foundational gaps, and finally ask, are you actually ready? This roadmap is going to totally shift your mindset away from just endlessly picking AI models and instead focus you on the real battleground, your underlying business environment.
All right, Section 1, the AI scaling problem. Let's get right into exactly why AI stalls out. This is the absolute core pain point tech leaders are dealing with across the board right now. Seriously, ask yourself, why hasn't our AI scaled? Think about your own organization for a second. You probably launched a proof of concept, right? Everyone was super excited, the demo looked absolutely incredible, but then, when it came time to actually roll it out to production, to weave it into daily workflows, it hit a massive brick wall. Budgets get wasted, enterprise pilots just sit there, and all that initial enthusiasm totally evaporates. So, what's actually to blame here? Well, here is the harsh reality check. It is rarely the AI model itself. It is almost always the environment around it. Think of it kind of like this. Building an advanced AI solution on top of bad data, disconnected systems, and clunky legacy tech, that's literally like trying to build a multi-million-dollar mansion right in the middle of a swamp. The house might be state-of-the-art, but that foundation is going to swallow it whole. It's the data the AI can actually access, the core systems it connects to, the governance controlling it, and the people operating it that truly dictate your success. Moving right along to Section 2, what is AI readiness? How do we actually prepare to start and prevent those massively expensive 6-month pilot failures from happening in the first place?
Now, what's really interesting here is how this clears up a huge misconception in the industry right now. A lot of organizations completely confuse an AI readiness assessment with an AI maturity assessment, but they're not the same thing at all. AI readiness asks, is the organization actually prepared to start? You absolutely have to do this before you adopt anything. AI maturity, on the other hand, asks, how advanced is our existing AI capability? You do that after initiatives are already live. If you're trying to measure maturity when you haven't even proven you're ready to start, you are just setting yourself up for failure.
A really solid AI readiness framework does not just start with a shiny new use case while you cross your fingers and hope the tech stack holds up. It combines a strict technology audit with a deep strategic review. Because honestly, AI adoption usually fails for 2 big reasons: unclear objectives and really weak data or infrastructure foundations. But if you do this right, a good assessment gives you 3 amazing outputs: a crystal clear picture of where you stand, a prioritized list of your specific gaps, and a beautifully sequenced roadmap to safely get you from early experimentation to actual real-world production. And that brings us to Section 3, the 8 readiness dimensions. Think of this as your core dependency chain. You really need to think of these dimensions like falling dominoes. They're a dependency chain, definitely not just independent checkboxes you can tick off randomly. You need strategy to align data and technology. You need that tech secured by governance, managed by people and processes, which all ultimately leads to integration. If you try to skip around, like, say, launching a fancy AI use case before you even have data governance, or trying to scale before your integration is proven, the whole chain just collapses. You'll end up completely rebuilding what you should have just assessed properly the first time around.
Let's rapidly run through these 8 dimensions so you can picture the whole audit. First up is strategy and alignment. Do you actually have a measurable goal and an executive sponsor? Second is data readiness. Is your data accurate and accessible? Spoiler alert, this is usually where the biggest gaps hide. Third is tech and infrastructure. Fourth is use case readiness, meaning, are you scoring ideas based on actual business value or just technical complexity? Fifth covers security, privacy, and compliance. Sixth is people and skills. Do you actually have the engineering and change management capacity? Seventh evaluates processes, looking at where a human in the loop fits in. And finally, number 8, integration and architecture. That last one is absolutely huge. An AI agent that can't connect to your core systems like your CRM or ERP is only going to give you insights. It can't actually do anything. And taking operational action is exactly what separates a cute little demo from real hard ROI. So the crucial point here is this. Dimension 3, technology and infrastructure, is almost always the ultimate deciding factor. Most projects just completely stall right here. It's those stubborn legacy constraints, a lack of cloud maturity, and most of all, missing API coverage. If your core databases and applications literally don't have APIs for the AI to talk to, your project is basically dead in the water before you've written a single line of code.
Section 4, scoring your AI stages. Let's shift this from high-level theory into a highly practical, actionable evaluation. Basically, you evaluate your organization by scoring each of those 8 dimensions we just talked about on a scale of 1 to 5, and then you average them out. That averaging part is absolutely critical. Why? Because it stops one really strong area, like, say, a super enthusiastic leadership team, from masking a fatally weak area, like heavily siloed data. If your average falls between 1 and 2, you're in the foundation stage. Stop what you're doing and fix the fundamentals. 2.1 to 3 is the developing stage. The building blocks are there, but they're pretty shaky. 3.1 to 4 puts you in the ready stage, where you can actually start running well-scoped pilots. And anything over a 4.1, you are in the scaling stage, ready to push those proven pilots straight into live production. This gives you a really nice, repeatable score you can track over time.
So what does all this actually look like in the real world? Let's move to Section 5, fixing foundational gaps. Time to look at a real-life case study to see how this framework gets applied. Okay, picture a mid-sized financial services firm. They've got about 800 staff, and they're running on a 12-year-old core policy system, which, let's be honest, in tech years is basically ancient history. After running the assessment, they scored a 2.75. That lands them squarely in the AI developing stage. Now, they had a major priority use case in mind. They wanted an AI agent to handle first-line policy and claims queries. But that 2.75 score clearly told them, hey, you are not ready to deploy this yet.
And this brilliantly illustrates exactly what happens when you do a proper audit. Just look at the specific gaps that popped up. Their data wasn't unified at all. It was fragmented across 3 completely disconnected systems. And that 12-year-old core policy system, it had 0 API layer. The AI literally would have had no way to securely access or write data. On top of that, they realized they had absolutely no internal AI engineering capability to actually maintain the system once it went live. Yikes, right? But instead of just ignoring these red flags, they followed the framework's sequenced roadmap. Step 1, they finally consolidated their customer data. Step 2, they built an API layer right over that legacy system so the AI could actually talk to it. Step 3, they defined a rock-solid governance policy. And only after securing that foundation did they actually run an 8-week pilot. Because they fixed their environment first, they were able to successfully measure that pilot on real, tangible business metrics, like resolution time and escalation rate, a total win. Finally, we're at Section 6. Are you actually ready? I want to leave you with a quick, actionable test you can use right now. Before you go and commission some massive internal audit, or honestly, before you write a massive check for AI investment, ask your leadership team these 7 rapid-fire questions. 1 and 2. Can you name the specific metric your first AI use case is supposed to move? And is the required data actually accurate, accessible, and explicitly owned by someone? Questions 3 and 4 are all about access and security. Can your core systems actually be accessed programmatically? And is there a strict policy for AI accessing sensitive data? For 5 and 6, think about ongoing management. Does anyone actually own these systems once they go live? And have your use cases been scored against consistent criteria? And finally, question 7, could a successful pilot actually scale on your current infrastructure, or would you literally have to rebuild it from scratch? Let's move to and see how this builds into an immediate action plan for you. If your answers to those 7 questions are mostly yes, that's fantastic. You're ready to start a well-scoped pilot. If your answers are kind of mixed, especially around data and integration, pump the brakes. Fix those foundations first. And if you answered mostly no, please do not spend a dime on AI models yet. You need to run a full readiness assessment. It's totally worth noting that experts like the team at 200 OK Solutions specialize in exactly this, helping business leaders assess these 8 dimensions and closing those critical infrastructure, cloud, and data gaps long before they turn into really expensive mistakes. I want to leave you with this provocative final thought. If you run a pilot tomorrow and it is wildly successful, could your current environment actually scale it to the whole company, or would you just have to tear the whole thing down and rebuild it anyway? Remember, sequence your AI adoption by dependency, not just by blind enthusiasm. Make sure your foundation is rock solid, and you won't just be experimenting with AI, you'll actually be operating it. Thanks so much for joining me on this explainer, and I'll catch you on the next one.